listen, this is an amazing panel for what is going to be an amazing show. And you guys are going to see a lot of stuff that no one has seen before in what is Deadly Class's inaugural Comic-Con panel. There are two things I need to ask you. One, are you pumped for this thing? Second, a couple of things I need to tell you. One, please respect that the creators and the cast of this show have worked incredibly hard. And we are going to show you some really cool stuff. So don't be a jerk and put it online, okay? Also, we have very nice security people here who will help stop you from being a jerk if you do put it online. So, have a great time. Hashtag Deadly Class all over. We're live tweeting. We're going to be live tweeting parts of this, so we want you guys to be part of that conversation too. You can go to my Deadline Dominic Twitter feed. We have a very nice backstage photo. Just plug it. But the other thing too is, let's remember, Deadly Class, and this is one of the reasons why I'm such a fan, is a no-hold-bars kind of comic, right? Which means there is going to be some language and situations here that might offend the tender of heart. Deal with it. That's it. It's happening. I've told you. You want to complain further? Talk to the hand. It's done. Now, having said all that, we got some of the cast coming. We're going to talk about the comic. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. It is so great to see a show like this. Now, I'm a TV critic, so I've seen parts of it that you guys haven't seen yet. And let me tell you, this to me is exactly what Comic-Con's all about. You take a book created by artists like Rick and Wes who are working from an indie point of view. That's right, you can't root for them, that's right. And Image, let's root for them too. And you take a book like that isn't whitewashed or bleached out, but it's a real hardcore story. It literally, when I remember reading the early issues and feeling like I could hear the soundtrack of like the Ramones and the Gun Club and the Violent Femmes and all those shows there. It was awesome. And then you take it and you see it transformed into a show that doesn't water it down, but ramps it up. And so, part of the reason why that happened is because there were two people involved with this, along with Rick and everybody else, and they were Anthony and Joe Russo. Woo! Who have directed a couple of little movies that some guys that you have seen, right? Exactly. Now listen, Anthony and Joe can't be here, but they have a message for you guys, and then right after that message, you guys are going to see some of Deadly Class that no one has seen before. So I'm going to get the hell out of here. You guys are going to watch the video from Joe and Anthony, and then you're going to watch the rest, and then we're going to talk about the best comic out there right now. You guys good with that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony and Joe Russo, Deadly Class. Sensitive artists backstage who will really be upset if they don't feel you like their show. So did you like their show? As we said before, by the way, I have a t-shirt, yes, I have. Here's the thing is, I actually generally, I'm really into this fucking thing. Like, I dig this thing. So like, I think one of the great things about Comic-Con is you can be a fan and you can be totally open about it and no one's gonna judge you or no one's gonna say anything to you because this is a community and this is one of the best things. So congratulations to you guys for being here, okay? And congratulations for joining us today. And without further ado, do you want to meet them? Ladies and gentlemen, the co-creator of Deadly Class and the co-showrunner of Deadly Class, Mr. Rick Remender. Also co-creator, Mr. Miles Orion Molisop. Co-showrunner, Rick Vandercourt. Artist of Deadly Class, Mr. Wes Craig. Those are the people behind the scenes. Please allow me to introduce Marcus himself, Mr. Benjamin Wadsworth. Saya Lanacondor. You know him from Doctor Strange. You know him from Infinity War. You know him from a ton of places. Master Land, Mr. Benedict Wong. Keeps telling me like it's 15 minutes. I got it. Okay, so we want you guys to join us. We're going to take some questions from you guys later on. So we really want you to participate. Let me just ask you one thing about questions, okay? Please specify who your question is for, and just one question per questioner. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. We're good, because there's a lot of you. We want you all to have a chance to have some fun here. So right away, I want to talk, Rick, to you about this. You're in this incredibly rare position. You co-created this, you created this and co-created this comic, right? And then, like a lot of times, a really great thing gets picked up, and then someone wants to make it into a show or a movie. And usually at that point, they take you out for dinner, they give you some money, and they invite you to 2 meetings where they don't actually give a damn about what you think. They're wearing earpieces like this the whole time.
Tell me how pretty.
Yeah, exactly. And tell you how creative you are, and can you please allow them to do everything to ruin your comic?
Yes.
That didn't happen here. You're running this thing. So I want to get a sense of how that is, and from you, what is the transition? Because this isn't an adaptation, this is something all completely different. What is the transition from what you and Wes had on the page to what you guys are going to be putting on the screen next year?
Well, I mean, ultimately, at the spine of it is the book, and that's what we're making. And from day one, the first meeting I had at Sony with wonderful Max Aronson and Chris Parnell, it was let's make the book. Let's not get a lot of people involved in putting thumbprints on it and changing it. And it's a very strange chocolate and peanut butter mix that Wes and I concocted here. And I wanted to maintain what's so important to me, which is a snapshot of the Generation X underground that I grew up in, and to do it justice and to put it on the screen. And along the way, as the snowball rolled down the hill, and we picked up Miles and Mick and the Russo brothers, and eventually Syfy picked us up, and we had all of these wonderful people who believed in it. There hasn't been a voice that wanted to change it. And that was the fear, is that we were going to hit that wall. I kept waiting. When does the bullshit start? And the bullshit kept kind of waiting and waiting until we haven't hit it yet. I'm expecting it.
It's coming.
Any minute.
Are you just like naturally that pessimistic, or are you like most people would be like, oh, the fucking lottery, and you're like, oh, it's going to get worse anytime now.
It's like we've been hanging out our whole lives. Yeah, that's exactly right, Dominic. That's how I run things.
Well, I did think when I first read the comic, being that especially that I partially grew up in Vancouver around this time, which is where you make the show, and I was a foster kid. At one point, I did consider suing you for defamation of character because I clearly did not go to an assassin's academy.
Yeah, but then you're not allowed to talk about it if you did.
Yes, exactly. The first rule of King Dominion is you don't talk about it.
That's right.
Marcus, I wanted to ask you, and we are going to refer to you as Marcus now. It's happening. It's happening. No, this is what's going to happen, because I can't wear this thing anymore. When you take on a role like this, Deadly Class so quickly resonated with so many people of all different generations, right? And then you now become that character, and you become Marcus. So for you, what is that like as an actor? You've got I've got 3 of the compilations of the book up here, which I hope you all know, right? You're on issue 30. You and Wes are on issue 35 now.
35,
Yeah, 35. Right. Yes, very nice cover there, by the way, Wes. Very nice. Man buried in water. Very nice. So for you, what is that like, and how have you adapted to this process?
Well, it's extremely nerve-wracking. Awesome. I kind of just prepared by reading the comics a lot. That was it. We had everything that we needed at our fingertips. At our phones,
Wow. At least he's honest.
Gave it to us in the Dropbox.
Humble. He turned 18. We started shooting and carried a TV show. So that's a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Thanks, Miles.
I'm here for this fatherly words of encouragement.
Miles is the praise-giving parent.
Are you the praise giver? Is that why you have the red jacket? It's the praise-giving jacket?
This is about balance. So our world views balance each other up.
I say we're all truth givers. 100%.
Hopelessly. So, guys, the show's going to debut next year. You guys have been up in Vancouver making it. How does it feel to be here at Comic-Con? How did it feel to watch what is basically the opening 13 minutes of the very first episode, and see all these people seeing it? And this is and I'm not going to let any of you ask this question, but this is for all of the people.
My heart's still
It's surreal. It's such an honor to be here, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all watching it backstage, and we were all hugging each other, like shaking and crying.
Crying a little bit, so sorry if we get emotional, guys.
Yeah, we're just as much fans as you guys are. It's an honor to bring these characters to life.
Yeah, it's heartening to hear your roar as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, as it's been realised, and you know, we want to honour that.
Now remember guys, as we're having this whole conversation, it is being live tweeted, so you guys can also go to hashtag, you can also tweet the hashtag Deadly Class or hashtag SDCC. Please do, we like it very much. And when we take questions from you guys, maybe I'll look at my phone, see if there's anything on there. Benedict, you're incredibly well known to the Comic-Con community. I mean, dude. Oh my God, when you do that, I feel like I should do a Doctor Strange time thing and make you move around. So, I mean, you've worked with Joe and Anthony on a number of projects. For you, you know, they obviously the executive producers. We saw the great video from them introducing this. What attracted you to this? Why were you like, that's my next thing. I want to do that.
Well, you know, as you know, I was working on a little small film called Infinity War. And,
Benedict, don't do that. Nobody saw it, man. It's a flop.
and you know, yeah, Joe called me up and he said, "Hey, Benny, it's Joe. Hey, look, I got the script. It's great. You're gonna love it." And you know, he just sent me this incredible script, and I just, you know, I was reading the graphic novels, and I thought, who is this Rick Remender guy? And I was like, okay, did a bit of research, and then you got your little Spotify playlist.
Oh yeah.
And so I played that whilst I was sort of just reading it.
Okay, so what's on your Spotify playlist? Because you're very like, if you read, I'm assuming you all read the comics, so I don't have to fill in exactly. So you know, you talk at the back of the comics almost every issue. You guys talk about like influences, stuff like that, and music, of course, plays a huge role. I mean, I remember when I first reading the comic from that generation. I mean, I literally had the Gun Club playing in my head before I even was listening to it, or Violent Femmes, or all those bands, right?
Sure, yeah.
So what's on the playlist?
Well, I mean, it's rich. It goes all the way from 70s oi punk, like the Addicts and the Toy Dolls, into the, you know, American stuff where we did, you know, Agent Orange, The Descendants, TSOL, you know, drifting into hip hop, Eric B. and Rakim, Too Short, NWA, dripping, you know, moving our way back into the gothic scene with, you know, Sisters of Mercy. I think that we, you know, in the show we also have The Damned. I mean, like, this is a dream come true, right? Because this is a generation, like, Generation X has been marginalized and forgotten about, and these scenes are gone. And I think music needs a little infusion of what we were snorting back then.
Amen to that, brother. So, for you guys, for Maria, for a sense, you know, you didn't grow up in the 80s. I mean that is no disrespect. But for you, you know, looking at this and looking at this era and from what the world that Rick and Wes have created in the comics, you know, what to you as an actor were you like, okay, this is what I can grab onto here. Here's how I'm going to do this.
I guess I just really wanted to play Maria in a very relatable way. I think she is this amazing human being who has endured so much, and I really want you guys to feel her as much as I do. And also, talking about the 80s, Rick Remender sent us the most amazing playlist. And we worked with that playlist with our
Is this playlist on Spotify?
I believe that some nice person took a few of my playlists out of the book and put it on Spotify so that one day Benedict Wong would listen to it and sign on to a television series adaptation.
I think that once the show debuts, I think we need to see a Deadly Class Spotify.
All right, well,
You know, once a week.
that's a lot of a commitment, but I love it. I'll do it.
All right. He said it here, right? So he said it. All tweeted. Rick Remender, hashtag Deadly Class, promises Spotify playlist every week when the show plays. All right?
Shit.
If you commit, you commit. Rick,
Week 1, Shania Twain, discography.
Oh my God, you do like all the bad 80s when you were like Rick Ashley.
This fucking guy likes so much ABBA, I can't even get my head around it. The B-sides of like the real deep cuts of the ABBA. Little Debbie Gibson. Oh yeah. Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany matured very, she became a very good person.
I'm sure she was a good person then. I'm sure she was great. I'm a very kind person. I'm not defaming her as a human being.
Good people can make shit music.
I know, but then again, Joe Biafra made great music and said some shit things in his life. So, you got to go both ways in that, right?
Double-edged sword.
So, Lana, there is so much as we come into the beginning here, and as we saw this. So I wanted to get a sense of, first of all, how's the motorcycle riding going?
Oh. Well, that was the thrill of a lifetime. I gotta say, I look pretty badass on that motorcycle.
You can totally cheer. She looked totally badass.
But when we shot that, I was beyond thrilled, and I told Rick and Miles, I was like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna learn how to ride a motorcycle, and then I'm gonna do this all on my own. And they were like, nah, Lana, you're gonna break your face. What happened was the motorcycle, I'm on it and I'm feeling great and it's looking great, but I'm actually just kind of getting pulled by an ATV. So that's I think as close as I'm gonna get to riding a motorcycle by myself. But yeah, Saya's so badass and so incredible, and I'm beyond thrilled to play her, and the motorcycle's just the tip of the iceberg.
All right. Well, clearly, from the way we saw that scene. Luke, give us a sense about your role within the series, and what were some of your expectations and challenges coming to this role?
Well, when I first got the script, I didn't get the full thing. If you guys know how auditions work, you get a couple of pages, you get to work with that, and show them what you got, and they decide whether or not you're right for the part. First scene I got, I looked at, it was Willie and Marcus discussing comics, and it was just good. And it looked like training day to me, so I was like, oh yeah, I know what that is,
It's never a bad thing when it looks like training day, my friend. Never.
Exactly, So I was already just ecstatic that I got to, play a character who had some fun, Then I got the whole script. Then I learned about all the layers. I learned about all the challenges that I would face as somebody who values honesty, playing somebody who struggles with it, playing somebody who's fighting every day to maintain his morality in an immoral world. And it excited me. It's something that this is what I said earlier, Willie's a dichotomy. In the first half, he and I think, are pretty identical. In the second half, we're polar opposites. And just studying the comic, the source material, what Rick and Wes brought to life in the comic book, man, they make your job easy for you, You see it played out there, all you want to do is bring that to life in the best translation you can.
And you guys did a great translation, as we have seen, my friend. Luke brings up an interesting point, and I wanted to ask you, what is it like for you to see your artwork translated into sound and vision?
It's just, it's too crazy, man. I was kind of thinking, I'm sure I've said this before, but I was like, I just want the actors, whether they look like my drawings or not, inside, I want them to be able to put forward those personalities, And it just also happens that these dudes all look like my drawings too. It's kind of strange, But yeah, it's kind of it's faithful in the perfect way, where I don't think it needs to be people have asked me about the weird panels that I do and the compositions in the page, and are they going to translate that? I don't want a Sin City type of thing, that's a cool movie and everything, but I don't want a literal translation.
Yeah.
All of the spirit of the, it works perfectly for the TV show, and ours works for the comic book. It's,
What Wes doesn't know is they all had plastic surgery.
Now, have you guys seen the amazing Deadly Class wall down on the convention floor? Yeah. I mean, that's amazing to see Wes's images and then next to the photos of you guys in the cast. It's just it's crazy.
I just see all the mistakes.
All Oh, artists.
Too big.
All artists. You're Mr. Down. The two of you sit around like with your little hoods on, being depressed all day.
Yeah. No, that's not really Wes. No, Wes just tears his own art. That's what That's how you get good art, right? You're never happy. You're always kicking the crap out of yourself. And
Okay, Edgar Allan Poe. We'll keep that one for later. But Miles and Mick, I get a sense from you guys because obviously your role in this as co-showrunners is to help to bring this to life in translation. So, what were working from the material that Wes and Rick had, and working with Rick? What were some of the challenges, and what were some of the glories that you didn't? You're like, wow, that so worked, and I didn't think it was going to.
Well, I found the comic book just like any other fan would in a comic shop. Someone handed it to me and was like, "This is amazing."
They give you free comics?
No, I paid for it the first time. Now I have a hookup. But as soon as I read it, I just identified with the emotional state of Marcus and the other characters, and I was desperate to bring it to television. And Rick and I had a 3-hour lunch in a barbecue restaurant in Pasadena, and he was, I was very grateful that he decided that I could go on this journey with him. And the real test hasn't been the work or translating it, because there's such a wealth of material. It's really been about endurance, because this process has taken almost 4 years to bring this show to you guys.
I was
trucker myth.
Yeah, and some drugger meth.
Whoa.
That was your outside voice.
Don't get that 80s about it.
Only in the green room.
Yeah, I due to some mental health issues that we touch on in the books, when I was a kid, was without parents for a little bit and had to panhandle on the street in Chicago, and I was involved in the skate scene and the punk scene. And when I read these books, I was blown away by the authenticity and the voice in the books. And then when I met these guys and we started talking, in the back of my head is, holy shit, how is television going to ruin these books?
Yeah.
How are they just going to piss all over it? And everybody has been so encouraging and supportive of protecting the voice. And it's been a true honor to be a part of this. And nothing sounds like the truth. The truth is the truth, and the fact that a lot of this is from Rick's real life experience and his high school journals resonates. It's real. Generation X is a lost generation until now.
And it looks awesome. Doesn't it look awesome? It just looks amazing. Now we're gonna start taking some questions from you guys. We see you've lined up. That's a very nice T-shirt you have, by the way.
Thank you.
Your question is yes. And your name is
Alex,
Alex. Who is your question for?
the writer of the show.
That would be Mr. Rick here.
Other than for money, why were you so compelled to write a TV show?
Do we have anything else we can give him?
Let's get into a big dissection of capitalism. I unfortunately didn't hear the second half. Other than for money is all I heard.
Because that literally is all you heard. You're like, Generation X is lost, but if you pay me, it's back again.
It's great. You're gonna love it. Who better to exploit it?
Other than for the money, why were you so compelled to write a TV show to go off of the book?
Well, I mean, obviously the artistic expression that we have in the book and the things that we want to say are things that we love very much, and we've poured our heart into the book. I didn't want to do it if the show was not something that stayed true to the intent of what Wes and I created. And to that end, I live in Los Angeles and work 100 hours a week solely on the show to ensure that what is translated is true to what we were making. And to reach a wider audience and show more people the stories and these characters we've created, and to see this wonderful cast bring them to life. It's an incredible experience. They're two very different mediums and different forms of art, but I don't think that I would have signed it, nor would have Wes, had we had to have changed it or lost the integrity of what it was that we wanted to make.
By the way, your name's Alex, right?
Yep.
You're awesome, brother. You're awesome.
Thank you.
That's like the best Comic-Con first question ever.
You were really like the rock and roll.
You might want to, there's this guy called Karl Marx. I'm not saying read it now. Like down the line. You guys got to think going on. So, okay.
Alex, do you want to be a writer really quick? Is that why you asked that question? Do you want to be a writer?
I'm not planning on it.
Dude, he was so close to offering you a gig.
Staff job gone.
Yeah. Now, I have to say, Alex, awesome question. The kissing Iron Man Captain America t-shirt is pretty right on.
Can I just say, I actually read a draft of that where that was the actual scene as well.
Did Joe and Anthony know about how the deleted scenes for Infinity War are showing up on t-shirts? Hello?
Hi. So first off, Rick, thank you very much for the book. You and Wes, this book tears every single fucking month, and we love it. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to
That's
swear.
fucking punk rock too. You don't even need a question with that.
$5 in the jar, please.
The whole book feels like basically Rick put an auxiliary cord in his head, and he just put the songs down on the page. I'm wondering if there were any artists that the cast found that they really liked. From the playlist, things that you guys maybe didn't know existed before, and you guys were kind of hanging out, and you're like, man, this is the jam.
I gotta ask you, you gotta make it for one person, so who are you asking that to?
Oh God, Marcus, man.
But Marcus, you can be like a game show and you can say pass.
No, I'll answer. I mean, I don't have any like specific songs, but like a band I still listen to is like The Cure. The Cure.
Nice. Hello.
Hi. This question is for Maria Gabriela. Hi. I'm Venezuelan and I'm very proud to have a Venezuelan actress in the panel. So we've seen in the last few years, more and more super powerful women taking on the leads. And we're very happy for that. And also seeing our Hispanic community represented in more and more characters. My question would be, right on. My question would be, como mujer, poderosa y latina, ¿qué quisieras en lo personal aportar a Deadly Class?
Wow.
Okay, the translation, they asked me to translate. As a powerful Latina woman, what would you like from your personal experience to bring to the table here in Deadly
That
Class?
is very kind of you to offer that instant translation, by the way, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Exactly that. I am so very proud to be working in this show where there's at least two very empowering female leads that are not afraid to get the job done. And yes, exactly that. And also, as a Latina, I feel so very proud to be here. I feel like I'm representing not only my country, but my continent, and I do not take this opportunity for granted. I really want to make great things with the show and really inspire other people because I've dreamt about this moment forever, and it's happening. And you guys, if you dream it, you create your reality, and I think that's what I want to say right now.
That's inspired, my friend. That's just all I'm gonna say is just inspired.
First, I want to say that clip was amazing. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Can you move closer to the mic?
Yeah. Once again, you guys are amazing. My question is for Benedict Wong. You're going into a character that's supposed to be much older than you, so how does it feel going into a character that is not only older than you, but is a very powerful character in the story, and people will most likely hate him?
Could you ask
That's an easy question, Benedict.
Could you ask that in Klingon, please?
I know a previous questioner has set the
Sorry. So, I'm sorry, could you say that again? Did I mind what playing?
Character
It
that's supposed to
basically
be
is your character's a lot older than you in real life because Methlin is like what 1,000,000 years old, right? And Benedict does not obviously look 1,000,000 years old. And secondly, are you worried about playing a character? And if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize on behalf of the Federation. Do you mind playing a character who basically everyone fucking hates? Or is that not a new thing?
No,
Not
I
getting
don't
this
have any
call.
issue. Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. I think with playing someone that was in the graphic novel much older, we were either going to wait for another 20 years, but that wasn't going to be happening. But I think what I do carry is I just work with the essence of Master Lin, and what we will find out is his dedication to upholding the legacy of King's Dominion. And do I mind about being a hated person? I just play what needs to be played, and the viewer will judge how he or she feels about their character.
Thank you.
You saved that? Does that show up in the show? You throw another little Klingon everywhere?
I think that's the first monologue.
Yeah, nice. Well done. Well done. Can never get too much Klingon. Hello.
Hi. So my question's also for Benedict Wong.
Does it involve Klingons?
No. Going from a giant kind of promotional movie such as Infinity War that was anticipated for a very long time, going to a show like this, how is it so much different?
It's no different in merit. It's just this is really so exciting. To be part of this and to be a part of this. It's a bit weird me being the oldest guy now. Now I'm the veteran, but it's a real honour to be amongst this young talent. And I think they've snagged them very, very early before they. Seriously, all of them all blow up, and and just to be working with the guys as well, and that omnipresence of the Russo brothers, I just think, and hand in hand with Syfy, with Sony, and it's all of the components are all there just for us to tell this story very, very well, and we all can't wait.
Look pretty good to me. Guys, I have to be a total bummer now. This has to be our last question, because Comic-Con will throw us. I know, I'm sorry. Wow, you fist pumped it. Did you flip me the bird?
That's the right decision.
Hi, my name is Trang Vo. First of all, Luke Tenney, we love you. We were so proud of you, Luke. But this question's for Lana, though. Lana, how do you have been killing it, in the industry as an Asian American actress. I've been on set, I've been in between filming, I've been reading to all the boys, I've been watching the trailers of Deadly Class. What is your advice to other young Asian American artists that are discouraged because of the lack of representation in the industry right now?
That's an excellent question.
I think my advice, because I was there literally a year ago. I was sitting in a plane thinking what do I want to do next? What role do I want to do? And there were roles that I really, really wanted to do, but kind of wrote it off because I figured, those roles aren't usually offered to a girl who looks like me. And I think my advice would be, if you want it really bad, work really hard, put your head down, and don't listen to any of the noise, and just believe in yourself and know that you can do it, because, it's proof that it's possible, and I think we're making amazing steps in the industry to have inclusion and diversity. Look at this cast. It's a colorful cast. Right?
Well, and I think, that's one of the things, right? These barriers only exist because we buy into this bullshit.
Right.
That to me is, maybe I don't know if Rick said, but that to me was always the greatest thing about punk rock. There was no rules, right? And hip hop. There's rules. You made it up. You do what you wanted, right?
It was all about inclusion and unity, right?
Yeah.
And that was the scene.
Well, and dancing and drinking.
And dancing,
dancing and drinking. And to that, we gotta go. But you guys have been awesome. So thank you so much.